Hey guys, this is Hayes with CheatSheetPros. Today is Sunday, January 8th, 2023, and I wanted to give you some tips and tricks for finding DFS plays. We've had wild success for props and betting, but I want to focus a little bit on daily fantasy, especially in the NBA. So I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks of some things that I have noticed recently. So over here we've got our rated plays. So here you can see we had a diamond play. So one of the things I try to do every day, I only get to it about 4 or 5 days a week, is I go and I add this column here and I bring in the player's actual value. So I just bring them in on this little tab of the player, what the value was, add this column, and then I look it up and kind of highlight it. And I want to see, what did good, what did not work. And so some of the screenshots that you'll see me post is the boom percentage, and sometimes I'll do custom projections, and then the GPP Algo. But we're going to look at a new one that I've noticed the last couple days. So first thing, I'll sort by boom percentage, and I'll kind of scroll down here and say, okay, how did we do? Which these did really good. So you got 6.2, 8.4. We missed with Patrick Williams. 6.9, 6.8. So 4 of the top 5 did well. Had a couple low balls and then a couple more hit value. Jackson Hayes missed. And then we went on a little bit of a streak, had 4 hit value with a couple 8.4, 7.1x. Draymond crapped the bed. And then over here had another pretty good run. So out of these did pretty good. So typically the screenshot that I post is going to look something like this. Oh, I guess that's really small. Let me blow that up for you a little bit. So we blow it up. So I take a screenshot of it and I kind of put an X over here to show you what hit value and these what didn't, and then what I'm looking at. So last night on Saturday the 7th, the boom percentage plays went 14 and 5, or hit 14 of 19 hit value. So that was pretty good. And then I'll come over here and I'll do the GPP Algo, which actually, since I revamped it about a month ago, it's actually been exceeding expectations. And I do the same thing. I'll kind of go down, I look at the players, I compare, minutes. Typically, when we're doing boom percentage, if there's minutes under 25, I recommend throwing them out. These top guys are hit or miss with GPP, but like here you can see Ty Jerome missed, but he was only projected for 22 minutes, so we could have tossed him out and did a little better. And then these guys, 1 hit, 1 slightly under. And then down here you get someone like Kendrick Nunn, 1.1. Well, he was only projected for 16 minutes, so you would have thrown him out. But if you didn't throw any of them out and you left them in there, they still hit 10 of the top 14. And then a couple of these we'd have thrown out just for minutes, but you can see what this looks like. And these are usually the screenshots that I post, and I just show you how many hit value. So for one of them, they went 10 and 4, and then I can't remember what did we say on the boom percentage, 14 and 5. So a pretty good hit rate overall. But one of the things that I noticed, and honestly, I don't play a ton of DFS since sports betting's been legal. I find it much easier to nail player props, and sports betting is a huge passion of mine, so I've kind of focused on that a little bit more for my personal money. And I still dabble in DFS, just not quite as extensive. But I always want to see what's working. And this is a great tool to see. It's color coded with 6x is the red. And then if they were 5x to 6x, it's green. 4.5 to 5x is kind of the gold. And then if it's below 4.5x, it's the blue. And then we've got how often, what percentage of games over these last 16 that they hit 5x, and then we count the number of 6x and number of 7x games, so you can look for upside in GPP. So one of the things that I want to talk about is over here on the far right, and it's right here. So typically, I don't like projections. Most of the time, people just use projections to put them in an optimizer, and it's literally just like a season average divided by the number of games, and then they bump them up or bump them down a little bit based on minutes. But most sites are going to be fairly close, within 2 or 3 points. So if you want to get something completely different that's going to throw some wacky players in there and give you some different lineups, I recommend coming over here. Now, we have our cheat sheet projections that we do. So if I run an optimizer, I've got them here where I can just copy these 2 columns, I paste it, upload it, and that's where I run my lineups. But you can pull these numbers with this column if you want something a little bit different. So what this is the last 5 fantasy point per minute. So just the last 5 games. So if a player's hot, they're going to move way up. If they're cold, they're going to move way down, and you're not going to have as much exposure to them. So one of the things we can look at over here is your fantasy point per minute production. So typically, a very basic way to come up with projections is taking the fantasy point per minute average times the projected number of minutes. Well, the fantasy point per minute production is fairly easy to calculate, but if you go over the whole season, it kind of waters it down and just gets to an average. But if you take just the last 5 games, they're going to spike up or spike down. There's more movement. And then you've just got to nail your projected minutes. So when you're looking at minutes, I have projected minutes over here. Minutes average last 3, last 5, last 10, and specifically the last 5 games. So you can see, like, here, Luka, we know he's playing, 30 to 40 minutes every game. And then here, Ty Jerome, he's really not playing a whole lot of minutes. So these are the 3 steps that I recommend to find some plays. I've only looked at this for 3 days, but they've all been wildly successful. So I'm going to have to start using this in DFS. So the first thing, go here to last 5 fantasy points per minute, sort by value high to low. So this is going to bring up our highest ones. Now what this is doing, look at this column. So this is going to take the projected minutes by the fantasy point per minute number last 5 and create a projection, and then it gives you a value. So we're sorting by the players with the best value. Now the 2 columns we're going to focus on for step 2 and step 3 is this projected minutes and then the fantasy point per minute last 5. Now I want to explain the difference. Fantasy point per minute for the season, you see over here in the left column, like Luka, for example. Let's look at him. He's 1.65, but over the last 5, he's averaging 2.01. So if you take Luka times his 38 minutes, 2.01, it's going to give him a projection of 74.4. Now let's go over here and look at what the default projection is for him. So the basic DK projection was 61 points. And then we have him at 70.9 because we pull a little bit extra factor for that last 5. But if you come over here and you just put in this last 5 number, it's going to give you a number of 74.4 or 5.9x value. He hit a triple-double last night, so I don't know what his fantasy score was, but it was really good. So this is how you can look and compare these. Now, one of the things I've noticed is numbers here, when you get below 0.9, 0.95, there's a lot of variance. Like here we can see a couple 0.7 showing up. Patrick Williams and Ao. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I'm not even going to try. But all these other guys that are over a minute, or 0.99 is kind of the threshold I look at, you're going to get some different numbers. So the 2 filters I recommend putting on is taking this fantasy point per minute last 5 to 0.99 or better. So if you go over here, just in case you're new to Excel, click this, and we're going to go number filters, greater than, equal to, and then just go 0.99. So that is going to filter out everybody below 0.99. So you can see everybody here is 0.99 and higher. And then minutes. So we want at least 25 minutes. I put 24 just to kind of give us a threshold. The 0.99 is going to weed out a lot, and then the minutes is going to catch the other ones. Like here, Trey Lyles at 16 minutes. He's played 14, 9, 18, 19. It's variance, so we don't even want to mess with him. If you're doing a GPP, you can. And then Kendrick Nunn, he went 6, 15, 27. He's projected at 16. He didn't get very many minutes last night. So I'm going to go click the caret and then go number filters, greater than, equal to, and we're just going to do 24 minutes. So I'll give you a second so you can kind of see that, and then hit OK. So that's going to filter out everybody projected less than 24 minutes. And you can set it to 30, you can set it to 28, whatever you want. So now the 3 steps we had, we sorted by value for this last 5 fantasy point per minute, sorted by value. We knocked our minutes to 24 and above, and then we filtered fantasy points per minute last 5 to greater than 0.99. And you can see a lot of these are plus. The only one that's gone down really is Jonas, and it's only 1.2 to 1.13. So this gives us a good player pool or a way we can look for a set of core plays. So now we want to see how these players did. So I'm going to scroll all the way over here. Now I need to shrink this down, so I'm just going to grab some of these columns so we can get over here. And I'm going to shrink all these up to this one. So So I'm going to highlight them all, and I'm just going to drag it over to kind of make them small so I can do my screenshot. Okay, so we've shrunk those columns out. And then you can see over here, let me do a screenshot so I can write on this and show you. Now, this has been, I don't know why it's been so successful. Again, it's only been 3 days, but something I wanted to point out because we do have some people in the group that they exclusively play DFS, and this is the stuff that they look for. So look at how many hit value on here. So out of our 3 things, sorting by value here, we want minutes over 25 is what I use, and fantasy point per minute, last 5 over 0.99. Look, hit value, hit value, hit value, hit value, hit value, hit value. Now out of these top guys, it's not like there's one 5.2x. That's Luka. He's expensive. That's fine. But 7.8x, 6.3, 6.9, 6.8, 7.1. Those are phenomenal numbers if you're playing DFS. 5.4 from LeBron, that's not bad. But then Thomas Bryant, an 8.4, that's good. 6.5, 5.3 hit value. 4.7 didn't hit value but didn't kill you. Draymond Green, 3x, he's the lowest one. He didn't get there. Fox, 5.6. Looney only 4.8 but didn't really get there. Let me see what his fantasy point per number was. Okay, so he's kind of in that number, about 1.2. And then Sabonis hit. Clarkson didn't hit, but 4.6 doesn't kill you. 4.6 from Franz Wagner doesn't kill you. So they don't hit value, but they're not sinking your lineup. 3, this is going to sink your lineup. Draymond Green would have got you. 4.6, you can still survive that. But then look at this. Vanderbilt, he goes off once every like 4 or 5 games with a big double-double and 40 or 50 DK points. He ended up with 7.5x. Fultz ended up with 7.1s. And usually Fultz or Franz, one of these 2 guys, they usually both don't go off at the same time. One of them does. So if I was uploading lineups, I would put a rule in there not to use both of them in the same lineup, but use one or the other. And then if Orlando wins, one of those usually has a good game, which this time it was Markelle at 7x. And then DeRozan, 5.2x. Poole, 4.3x. That's low. And then Banchero, he's been struggling, but 4.8x. You know, it doesn't kill you, right under value. But look at how many of those hit compared to the 14 of 19, which was good under the boom percentage. And then 10 of 14 hit under the algo, and a lot of those that missed are lower minutes. But this is just another tool to use and put in. But, I mean, I've been highly impressed with how this has came out and everything that it's spit out for it. So this is something to take a look at. Again, the NBA cheat sheets I posted in the morning, which I need to get going on that right now. And then I updated again about 4:30 Central Time, which is usually about 90 minutes before lock. So I would recommend doing this on the updated sheet that comes out 90 minutes before lock. And I'm going to keep following it. And typically with my schedule, Mondays and Tuesdays are busy at work, and I'm getting the sheets for the week built for PGA and everything. But then usually Wednesday through Sunday is when I provide more content and screenshots, and I go back and kind of research some stuff. So I hope this helps you guys out, and good luck, guys.